Chris Thomas, Minister for Policy and Reform, and two items: safeguarding bill, which you've already announced, I think, earlier this week. But you're very excited about this, I know. Explain exactly what does this mean, though, to the public?
Since 2006, after the Commission of Inquiry into Social Services and other related issues back then, and subsequently, we've had a board set up called the Safeguarding Board. A bill's coming to Keys subsequent to this consultation to put that on a legal basis. So essentially, it's giving a legal framework to smooth out rough edges to a situation that we've had in place, and a set of governance arrangements that we've had in place for a decade or so now.
So it's really just technical? I mean, it's just...
I wouldn't say it's technical, it's absolutely crucial. Social workers have a difficult job. The issues of vulnerable adults, children's, families, mums, dads are all vital. This Safeguarding Board provides a degree of independence. So, for instance, in the background at the moment, we've got concerns about the independent report on the Children and Family Services issue, a report that's coming in its raw form, in its original state, to Tynwald in October, and that's been done by the chair of the Safeguarding Board, and so this legislation should be seen in the round, and it's part of putting in place the basis, a legal basis for smoothing out the rough edges of the system around it.
Does it stop litigation and people being exposed or something?
No, not at all. It just anybody that operates should have a legal basis for its operation, so that there's no doubt about what can be done and what can't be done. So,
is there anything that sparked that, or was that just you being...
No, Tynwald recommended it in March this year, recommended it last year, and say first time the establishment of it on a legal basis was in 2006. We're going to have another long interview today, Paul, or we're going to have a short one so even Bernard Moffat can stay interested throughout.
He seems to enjoy it, doesn't he? Whatever. And, we have a response, what can I say? You've got this other one, to do with the smarter use of our data, and is this down to, like, you change your address? And in the past, you'd have to go to all different departments, from your electricity to whatever. Yeah. Is that what you're saying on this one? Is you change it once and then it's all done? Is that Big Brotherish, or is that where you're going to run into trouble?
No, we want to make sure that it's not perceived as Big Brotherish. So, one aspect of this is you tell us once, and we'll be able to use that information with your consent, if you've opted into a system, to pass that change around the different parts of government that have your data. We're 3/4 of the way through the process of assessing the feasibility of a single resident record. If you remember, we had quite a heated debate in October, November, December, and agreed to go away, lead a team of officers to come back with a feasibility study, and that feasibility study will be coming back in December.
So what is the worry then? It sounds so obvious to most people that they want to do it once, but there's obviously concerns.
And this
data protection.
Different consultations have different purposes, and I think the purpose of this consultation, differently from, say, the Safeguarding Bill, which is to get people's opinions on a piece of law, this is about informing people about some of the uses that we might make of this simple, smart solution to how government delivers its public services, to see whether people agree with us, but that potentially this is helpful for them in their interface with government, and it could also have benefits for us for more efficient and effective delivery of government services.
There are people against this, though, aren't there?
There are, and in the run-up to the debate in December, we'll have some rich debates. So the Positive Action Group has scheduled a session at the end of October to bring over a sort of libertarian-type approach to challenge government, to make sure that we have thought this thing through from a privacy perspective. And I can absolutely assure people that we won't be putting in place a computer system that hasn't been designed for privacy by default. I can absolutely assure people that they will be consenting for use of their data. If we are going to extend the use, there will be specific legislation brought into place, about which there will be a specific consultation.
I mean, I understand it holds a name, but what are you expecting also have bank account details, credit cards? Is that
not at all at this stage? No, at this stage it's just simply basic personal data about name, address, and updating that once.
Occupation, income.
And we've assessed the feasibility of a system where that data is shared between databases. So not at all. We have a tax database, which is a separate database and is governed by its own law. We have a medical databases that are governed by their own law. We're not in any way.
That won't bring that.
We're not in any way linking those databases, except through a simple thing which we'll be unveiling, subject to the results of this consultation in November. and presenting it to Tim Ward as a result of a feasibility study. Absolutely no decision has been made.
In the future, you'd go in or online it, I presume, and update what? What fields would you have in there that you could update?
These are the right questions that should be being asked, and if people go on and fill in the survey, they'll learn more about the sorts of systems that be updated. So, for instance, tell us once in terms of your name and address, but also people have an annual obligation to fill in the electoral registration form, and this is explained in the consultation how that would relate to that. We also have census forms from time to time, and you were always teasing me that I'm the man who likes his data, and it could be that you won't have to give us as much information on forms like that, because we could, with your consent, get that data subject to legal constraints.
And could you do this on your iPhone with your thumbprint as your sort of ID and make it sort of quite rigid and good on? We
haven't spent a great deal of money on anything like this, on investigating any of this, because we've stuck to our word. What we're doing this year is we're assessing the feasibility and the public acceptance.
Do you think you'll get through?
Possibilities. I'm looking forward.
Do you think it's going to be a heated debate then? I mean, or do you think it's just going to be? I
think we've already presented slightly more to MHKs and MLCs, and we've already had hands-on demonstrations to some MHKs and MLCs, and I think I like the way that we're engaging on the process, and genuinely we'll have a discussion in December on the feasibility of this approach and moving to the next steps. And we've got 2 consultations here, and more and more government is just getting on with things rather than consulting about it, and we never actually had a chance to announce in public really that we've got a brand new consultation hub. You know, you would have noticed that all of our consultations now are not done in the same way, they're done in different ways. So we've got an online survey tool at consult.gov.im.
Yeah.
And I would like to think that the public would accept that what we did there was we didn't have a consultation on how we consult, we just went about seeking informed views, seeking general views, and we've incorporated that into the approach that we're taking. And these 2 consultations are different in their approach, and that's important. You should consult in different ways for different purposes, but the public should always remember that we haven't got a definite answer. We're genuinely interested in the views, and we've been told in that consultation approach that we should explain things clearly, which we're trying to do, and also give feedback on what happened with the information provided in the consultation, and we're also doing that now.
Okay, well, consultation, everyone's consulting about everything, but...
Not at all, that's what I just said, Paul. We're not doing that, we just do things in this government now. We consult when it's necessary. We are public representatives, the public matter, but I better shut up now or Bernard Moffat will be complaining.